Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tracy A, and I don't really know what this is. I have some time to kill. I'm like taking a class on culture acceptance and some weird stuff at a really cool research hospital or whatever. So I thought, why not shoot? Yeah, okay. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Tracy A. I am a gap year medical student. I took a leave of absence because I failed step one, passed step one, 23, gonna be 24 very soon. I'm 23. I am in a BSMD program. I got my nursing license in high school. I'm currently doing OBGYN oncology research and working as a geriatric nurse. Now that you're updated, I don't really know what to talk about. I hear feet. Give me a second. I'm back. So, I wouldn't call this a Med School Monday video because I'm not really in med school. I'm like taking a gap year. So I thought that I would share the 5 steps or 5 things that really helped me pass step one the second time around, because like I obviously didn't get through it the first time. That's why we're here. 1, get over it. It is easier said than done. It took me 2 months to get out of my funk, and it wasn't like a funk where it's like, oh, I know I failed, da, da, da. No, like I honestly had no hope. I felt like the bottom of the most disgusting barrel that you would ever find at the bottom of the deep blue sea. You following me? Okay. So I just really had a hard time understanding why I had failed, accepting that I had failed, basically going through all the stages of grief, and still, maintaining my sanity was very hard. So step 1 would be to go through the motions, but don't let the motions overtake you, because it's so easy to kind of sit at home and sulk and bitch and moan, especially because I had to take a leave of absence. So now I have a whole year to just dig around. Just stick around. So I went through this weird depressive state where I was just at home eating a lot, watching television, all of the shows. I watched everything. And it wasn't good for me or my mental health because I didn't see anybody, I didn't interact with people. All my friends were doing their rotation, so they were carrying on with life, and I just felt stuck. And it's very hard because I did not plan to fail. I'm one of those people that kind of plan my entire life, and there's a moment for everything. Everything has to happen with my say so. But that's not the way life really works. It's one of those things. They're just saying that you plan your life and God laughs because God has his own plan for you. So the fact that I didn't mentally, emotionally, or physically, or even financially plan to fail, I just felt like I was thrown into something and I had no idea how to get myself out. It took me 2 months to get through that phase and get back to like, girl, like we need to close this door officially. Even if we do want to not finish medical school, you can't spend an entire time studying for an exam, building up to it, whatever, fail it, and then be like, all right, I'm done. I don't like to close doors like that. That's a half closed door. So I made sure I went back and I studied for it. So things that I changed when it came to study habits. Let's see. I used my step kind of write up to set as a guideline as to what I need to focus on. Because think of it as that was just another practice test, even though it was a practice test that cost $600. And all of the money that I spent on that exam with all the NDMEs, yeah, I did that. I used the step 1 that I failed as kind of a marker for what I need to work on, and I tackled those subjects first. The thing about tackling those subjects, right? So people are like, do random blocks and do focus blocks. I agree to a certain extent. If you're doing a random block and you haven't like mastered all the information, think about it. I've now spent like 2.5 months not studying for steps. So not that I'm starting fresh, but this stuff is not really fresh in my brain like that. So it's kind of like I'm starting anew. Wow. So basically, if I was to read a subject or read on the topic or watch the Boards and Beyond videos, I would want to do focus blocks. I would want to do focus blocks on whatever subject, if it was cardio, if it was pulmonary, right? However, if you do focus blocks and you finish, like, go through a lot of questions, let's say the first week is cardio and you go through all your cardio questions, you're never going to see those questions again when you do the random blocks. So it's almost as though you've kind of run out of that resource and you don't want to do that. So what I did this time was, if I was going to do a focus block, I would always do a random block in the morning, regardless of if I cover the material or not. And in the afternoon, I would go ahead and I would go over do focus blocks, but like do 20, like don't do a whole 40, do 20 and then do another 20 of random. So it's like I'm doing 20 questions that are focused. Sometimes I'd go and do 40 if I wanted to. However, I always tried not to overuse the certain subject at that particular time, because if I use them all at that time when I'm doing my random blocks later on, or even if it's the next day, I'm not going to see a cardio question if I did cardio the day before. Does that make sense? So almost like, do not overuse your focus questions, because if you do that, you won't see those questions ever again until you restart it, or if you go and do your wrongs. And what's annoying about that is that's how I studied the first time. So if I started cardio first, I went over, I did everything I need to do. By the time I'm like going through like maybe the last 2 or 3 weeks, I wouldn't have seen any cardio questions because I'd finished them all. So yeah, I hope I didn't ramble. I hope that makes sense. I need to look at the camera. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. Let me lean, my arm hurts. Ooh, lighting. 3, make a schedule. And not a schedule that's like cutthroat. I'm one of those planners that like to plan everything to a T when it comes to what hour, what second, what minute your brain works on its own wave pattern, okay? If you say you have 3 hours to study this subject, you try to get as much as you can in those 3 hours, but plan extra time. Don't be too stressed on yourself, and don't study to check it off the list. Study to genuinely understand. And I guess this would be number 4. When you're studying and you're doing questions, always link it back to where it, like, the base subject that it came from. So if it's a path thing that you need to remember it came from, go back to there. If it's a biochem thing that you remember it came from, go back to there. There is no reason why the sections of first aid are so disjointed in your brain. Like, it's not just cardio, it's not just pulmonary, it's not just renal. Everything is intertwined. Come on, the body is a moving system, okay? So when you're studying, don't ever study so broken into pieces like that. Always go back to biochem, bro, to the point, like, I knew biochem like the back of my hand, to the point, or in the whole like beginning general principles. You should know that stuff legit like the back of your hand, and always try to go over it, because the thing is, a lot of the times, a lot of the questions that you get are not even like ridiculous cardio poem, whatever. It's very, it grinds down to the basics of biochem, the basics of path, the basics of farm. So you just need to really make sure you hone in on that, because people kind of like say, oh, it's a big topic, you go over in the beginning and you never go back to it. No. It's a thing that it's there all the time. So make sure that, you're focusing on that. What else? I don't know how shitty your school was, but my school never taught us the autonomic nervous system. So I would say, for me, what helped me tremendously, even though I feel like at this stage, especially if you're in a more established school, you would know what the autonomic nervous system is, what it does, what it provides, and how it is the epitome of everything you need to know when it comes to farm, and how the body works and how it's connected and all that stuff. So I would say, if you haven't gone over autonomic nervous system and all the stuff that entails, Boards and Beyond, their video on no, lies. There's another, it's not Boards and Beyond, it's the other one with the guy that makes the funny faces. It's not Kaplan, it's not Boards and Beyond, it's the other one. The one that has like the skits. I'm gonna write it across the screen. Yeah, go to that one and watch your autonomic nervous system. It's like, I think it's like 2 or 3 videos. Put it down in a packet, right? Have everything in like a little packet that you're always flipping through, you're always going to, so that anytime you think of a drug, you can go back and link it back to autonomic nervous system. Every time you think of like a finding or something, you can go back and link it. Anytime you're looking at the different types of cholinergic, esterase, you can go back and you can add to it as you're studying, because that is like the basic foundation. Just like I said, always stick to the basics. The basics is what is a foundation for a reason. That's the reason why you are supposed to learn it first. No shade, no shade, no shade. I like my school, you know, sort of, kind of. I got a love-hate relationship, but it's just me and you here, you know. Okay, so so I would say to go back to your basics and make sure you genuinely understand the autonomic nervous system. You don't want to skip over that. Like, that is pretty important. Also, I had a packet from PASS. Unfortunately, I don't believe I can share it to you guys, but it's a packet from PASS that kind of has all of the things that you think you need to know when it comes to grouping things together. If you can group things together, one, it's easy to remember, and it's also easy to jog your memory, because you can remember 3 or 4 things on the list. You can remember the 5th and 6th and 7th one. Even though it seems like a lot, it definitely comes in handy. So if there's like things that you never really understand, try to figure out ways that you can, like, if it's a mnemonic, sometimes mnemonics, you know, they can go left, because F can be friends, but F can be fun. If you know where that, you know, SpongeBob reference. I like TV, so yeah. Anyway, so it can mean a lot of things, and when you're under stress, sometimes you don't pick the right thing, and you end up picking the wrong thing or thinking the wrong thing, because the mnemonic is kind of messing up your brain. So I made up different ways to learn or memorize, but you know, the stupidest things. It's usually, dirty USMLE on YouTube. Awesome. It helps. It really does. So just find little things that'll help you remember the stuff that you feel like it's kind of confusing, and you write them down. And at the end of the day, you go back and you kind of use it as quick facts or rapid facts, just like you have the back of first aid. Use that. And yeah, I think those are like some core things that I definitely changed. I know I changed a bunch of things when studying the second time, and it was much more effective studying. I actually studied for a shorter period of time, but it was much more effective. Like in the day, like I wasn't studying from morning to night. I mean, I woke up late. Like I was studying. I was enjoying my studies, because I was just like, wow, this actually makes sense the second time around. Well, yeah. Okay, I'm pretty sure that I have to go. I can't be the black girl that's late, so I'm gonna go. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, make sure to like up this video, comment things down below if you ever had to retake step. Not the people that took step, because for some reason they have a different air about them. Just saying, if you had to retake step or delay step, leave some things down below for people that are, you know, are kind of nervous, or they're going through the motions, because I know that now my videos pop up if you failed step. I don't know if I should be proud of myself or whatever, but I just want to help someone. So write some things down below. Stay blessed, stay amazing, and just make sure that you're being yourself at all times, because God made just you. One you. Unless you're a twin, then he made 2 of y'all. But you know, you just an individual, okay? Peace.